and say who's present from the board. We have Lizzie, Dan, Janae, Nikki, and myself. And that is it. And the other, yeah, so that's it. So we are going to be adjusting the schedule a bit, and we're going to be adding our Natomas Garden Club to our agenda, you know, because she's got some great things to say. And I'm not even going to bother voting on that. I'm just making an executive decision. That's over. We will make
We're getting used to that.
Right. Yeah, so that's right. So, and now we shall move on. Lizzie, I'm going to count on you to work with that agenda because my printer was not working. So we'll hear from the city first.
Yeah, I think we had David up first, but I know depending on schedules, Jason, if you have to go and David has more time, I mean, we're flexible. So
no, I'm open, so I'm fine right now.
Awesome. I'm going to take David first just to give a few of the others hopefully time to log on, and if it's snooze you lose if they miss out on the greatness that you're going to bring and what you have to say. So David.
Well, I will admit I'm filling in. Councilmember was going to be here, but the last minute he said I can't make it, so I'm filling in for him. And Jocelyn is on vacation, as you may know.
Yes.
There's a lot of things going on in the community, and I know Jocelyn has been keeping you updated on many of them. She and I talk on a regular basis when she comes to NCA meetings about things to talk about. So I don't know that I have many new ones for you. Recent council actions. Last night, the council voted to move forward with spending about $62 million on homeless services. They're looking to buy a motel in the Richards Boulevard area that'll be permanent supportive housing and workforce housing. There's just a lot going on. Does anybody have any questions for me? I guess let's go there.
You're right up my alley about the homeless. I'm leader of American River's homeless crew as well.
Yep. How are you, Dan?
How are you doing?
Not too bad. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I think that's great. They're building one. You said a hotel over here for the homeless over here on Richards Boulevard?
Do you know there's a, what's that restaurant right at the corner? Is it a Denny's or a Lions? I think it's a Denny's.
Yeah, it's a Denny's right there.
Right down the street from there, there's a Hampton Inn. It's a 200 and some unit motel. And yeah. The council voted to approve SHRA's purchase housing and workforce housing.
That sounds awesome.
So
that's great to hear.
Yeah, did you have any questions about that or any of the stuff that's going on around there? Appreciate all that you're doing to keep the area clean. I know you spent a lot of time doing it, so we thank you.
I appreciate it. I just think it's wonderful. I think it's about time city does something to help the homeless. I think that's great. I'm all for it.
I think Justin may have mentioned we're working on a sobriety center. Years ago, this used to be called a drunk tank, if you recall. We don't have that any longer, so we're working on a sobriety center where people who are drug and alcohol users, it's a place where they can go and get clean. The council has approved funding for that, about $1 million. That's going to be a big deal. As many of you know, 60% of the people, more than 60% of the people who are on the street today are either mentally ill and or drug dependent. I think it's actually probably a little higher than that now because the recent jail releases. But there's a lot of people out there with a lot of hurt, and you can't get out of it if you're on drugs. So we're hoping to turn that tide.
Yeah, there are drug dependencies, and that's in all walks of life. But yeah, I agree with that part. There is a lot of drug dependency, but also there's a lot of families out there who can't afford rent. What about the families out there? That's my question about this. Is what about the families who can't afford rent or living in tents and don't want to lose their kids because of CPS?
Yep. The city we're opening up 2 shelters. There's going to be one in the Meadowview area right next to the Pannell Center. And then they're opening up another one at Broadway and Alhambra, right in the Midtown area there. There'll be roughly 200 beds for those 2. There's a number of challenges, and not only funding, just building these things is for the two of them will be in about $8 million. But the ongoing cost of running them is extraordinarily expensive. We don't have the money, but we're going to get it. Another issue is where to put these. Both of these facilities had tremendous community opposition to going where they're going. I mean, it was big, and at the end of the day, people don't want a homeless shelter near them. I get it, but right now they're on the street. They're on the sleeping on the sidewalk and down the street from your house. So we think this is a better way, and the council's looking at a number of options. Like Councilmember Harris is actually moving towards trying to figure out how to do a used to be called a tent city, or a place where people can get off the street. It won't be a building because of the extraordinary cost of those, but if we can find a place where people can get together, they can be in a communal setting. A lot of services can be applied, not only drug and alcohol, but mental health. I mean, on down the line. Folks who are on the streets have tremendous infirmities. And the hope is that we can, get people off the streets, get them back into a more productive life, or at least on a path to that. Not everybody's going to become, rocket scientists and become, productive members of society. But if we can get people maybe in a more dignified life, I think that'll be a better way to go.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff Harris is really good. He backed me in my Record Home script from the beginning. I have nothing but love for Jeff Harris. He's a good guy.
I'll tell him that, Dan. Thank you.
David, I was curious, the funding that was approved by the city last night, is that all the money that was allocated through what the state just released for homelessness, or does some of it come out of the city budget? Or
I think most of that is going to be state money. I'm trying to remember if it was, if there's a combination of CARES Act money, which is federal money that the state got. Lizzie, you caught me, and I'm forgetting the specifics about it right now.
No, I was just more curious. It's fine. No worries. I think a lot of people, I've seen, of course, a lot of people react negatively how it's taking money away from the general fund, which I did not believe was true, that it was specially allocated.
Some of it is going to be general fund money. When the voters passed Measure U last year, the councils talked about using some of that money, bonding to build affordable housing. They talked about different uses for it, and some of the uses are for homelessness. But we're also getting money, raising money privately. For example, like Kaiser and Sutter have donated millions of dollars to the effort. But we're getting from the state, we're getting from the feds, we're getting it really everywhere we can. So the money's coming from everywhere. But we need more. We need more.
Of course, right? It's never enough. And then I didn't get to tune into the council meeting last night, but is it still going to be that each district needs to find shelters for the homeless, or has that kind of been put to the side?
Great question. So the mayor called for every council member to come up with 100 beds or the equivalent. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 100-bed shelter. It can be a scattered site. I will tell you, not everybody is living up to that promise and that goal. Clearly, Councilmember Harris is, and others are, dancing around it. I'm not going to name any names, but it's not being universally achieved, if you will, unfortunately. So, yeah, I wish it was, but that's been the goal, but this isn't coming together. I mean, there are challenges. There are real challenges doing this. I mean, I don't know if you remember the shelter we had on Railroad Avenue. When that one was proposed, the neighborhood immediately adjacent, the Woodlake neighborhood, they lost it. I mean, things I've never seen before. Middle-aged people who are respectable throwing F-bombs at the mayor and just being, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was crazy. So nobody wants this next to their home, in front of their home, near their home. And I get it, but where they're going to go? Where are we going to put these people?
Well, yeah, no one wants them near their home, but they also don't want them on their street, right?
Everybody has a great plan. It always involves it going somewhere else. This other part of the city. There's this great location, 10 miles from my house that you should look at that one, right? That's essentially the message we get from everybody. So anyway.
Can I say something really quick?
Go for it.
I personally think people should just, the mayor should say, I don't care what you guys say, have it in every district, because it's better than being sheltered than be on the streets in harm's way, regardless. I mean, how would they like if that was them and they needed help?
Yeah.
You know, they need to think about that.
Yeah. Nobody, I think nobody thinks they're ever going to be homeless. Nobody internalizes that. It's always somebody else's problem. It'll never be my problem. A small part about myself. When I was young, my parents were separated and divorced, and I was with my mom, and I remember her losing her job. And I'm 8 years old, and I'm in the kitchen, and she tells me this, and I thought, okay, I'm going to quit school and go to work. You know, I'm going to earn money to help, you know, support my mom. And to this day, it still affects me. Like I drive around and think, oh, if I'm homeless, I'm going to go sleep over there. I mean, I still think about this, but most people don't. It's not a part of their conscience.
Sad reality is that 8 out of 10 Americans are on the verge of being homeless themselves right now. That's the 2020 statistic that I read, that 8 out of 10 people will be homeless or on the verge of being homeless right now in America.
Wow. That's big.
That's huge.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have much else, so I appreciate the chance to come here and just say hello and see you all.
Did anybody else have any questions or for David Gonsalves from Councilmember Harris's office?
Well,
No.
Seems like not. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for letting me join you tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Gonzalez. Appreciate it.
All righty. Next up, we've got the library. Erica, the real Erica. Do you have an update for us? There she goes.
Yes. So I'm just here to remind everybody that the library is still doing curbside pickup services. We changed our format a little bit so that now instead of having to make an appointment the day ahead of time, you can just come the same day and pick up your hold. You stop by whenever it's convenient for you. We're open more hours now, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. We've also got more materials available because we are transferring materials amongst all of our branches. We've added our partner libraries back into the rotation, and we've even restarted Link Plus. So it's basically business as usual, except that we can't open our doors and let people inside. But when it comes to actually being able to access materials, there's quite a bit of access, and we make it pretty easy to pick up your stuff. So, and if you're having trouble finding something on the catalog that you think would be good, we've also got personal shopper and personalized reading recommendation services that you can access on our website. So try those out, because you know we can maybe recommend a good book or movie or magazine or something that will work for you. We're also still in the swing of things with summer reading. So if you've been doing reading throughout the summer and keeping track of it, even if you haven't been keeping track of it, but you can kind of sort of remember how many books you've read, we'll give you credit for all of it. You can get prizes, kids can get prizes. We have some lovely yard signs, and we have tons of them. Let's see if I can show it to you here. This is a sample right here. You can put it in your front yard. And we've got a bunch of these available. So by all means, yeah, stop by and send us a quick text and say, I'm here for my yard sign. And we'll bring it right out to you. And prize books for kids. We have a lovely display in our front window, lobby window, for kids to look at. And it's a small selection of what we actually have. So if a child is looking at it going, oh gosh, I really wish they had something different than this, you know, send us a text message and say, hey, my kid is wondering if you have, you know, books about this, you know, or this series or something more like whatever. And, you know, we can offer some other options. And of course, as per usual, we still have a lot of our digital online services that are available 24/7. We have Libby through Overdrive, and that is our largest collection of ebooks, e-audiobooks, and streaming video. And you can download that 24/7. That operates with digital rights per copy. So that's one of those things where we buy a certain number of copies and one person can use a copy at a time. So if we have 50 copies, only 50 people can use it at a time. But we also have Hoopla, which is a pay-per-use service. So if there is something on Hoopla and someone wants to download it and read it, listen to it, etc., then you could have up to 100 people using the same thing, and we just pay for those 100 uses. And so Overdrive, or Libby through Overdrive, has the limit of 30 items, the way it always has. Hoopla has 5 per month. And so you have a lot more checkouts available on Libby, but you have more, I guess, easier access through Hoopla in terms of, like, if you want something absolutely right now, you look on there, anything you see, you can get it right away. And of course, we also have Flipster that has digital magazines. So, you know, you've got a lot of access to a lot of content digitally, ebooks, audiobooks, streaming videos, music through Hoopla, and magazines even on Flipster. So definitely check it out. And if you're having trouble because there's some kind of wonkiness with your library account, maybe you had some fines from the past and it's preventing you from checking out, or you can't remember your PIN number, or maybe you can't find your library card, but you're pretty sure you have an account. You know, feel free to give us a call or email me, and I'll put my email in the chat in just a second. And you know, let us know and we'll help you work through whatever those kinks are so that we can get you your access to your library services, okay? Because we want everybody using them right now. We're not here to put up barriers, we're here to break them down.
And let me just say, like, so we went to the library for the first time, and my daughter picked up her medal, and it has been the hit of the week. So you saved me from having to entertain her for a while, since you can go in the bathroom and watch it glow in the dark all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the service was wonderful. So, like, it was so easy. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have those in-person live recommendations, right?
No, I'm like a library groupie. Like, if you need a fan club, I'm your lady.
Sounds good. We'll start it next week.
Okay.
Thank
Does anybody
you,
have
Erica.
Does anybody have any questions about library stuff? Stuff you've heard, stuff you were wondering about? We don't have any idea of a reopening date. It all depends on Governor Newsom and our, you know, our elected officials and when they would recommend we move back into, you know, a less restricted access phase. And, you know, we're doing everything to listen to the experts on this and, you know, keep everybody safe so that, you know, so that our community can continue to move forward.
I have a question for you. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Are
How
you
about
able to advertise? Good. Are you able to advertise events? I sponsor these music events at a park. I'll talk about it soon when Erica lets me in. I have a question if you could advertise a Zoom music concert series that I'm sponsoring. Because there's a librarian in the North area that I've met, and I've sent her links to it. But just be a way of, I'm trying to get to the special needs population more too, and then all kids to integrate at this park. And we used to have these live shows for years, and then of course COVID hit and the city closed down the park. So I'm doing these shows, but I wanted to I could send you a flyer and you could maybe post it on, and it's all sponsored by the city rec department, so it's all legit. But I'm wondering if you were able to, if you had a Facebook group or Instagram, just for more exposure.
Well, Janet has an email list, right, Erica, that she could distribute it to.
Is that Brandy?
Yes.
Yep, that's me.
It is Brandy.
Hey. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, we
So
do.
for library purposes, the branches do not have individual social media accounts. Everything happens through a centralized library system account, and that is all handled by our communications department. And they have pretty strict guidelines. It needs to be library specific events that they post about. They usually don't incorporate stuff from around the community in that regard. But as Brandy pointed out, Janet Weiniger at the Citrus Heights Sylvan Oaks Library, she is a really good resource, especially for reaching out to the special needs community.
What's her name? Sorry.
Janet Weiniger, and I can put her contact info in the chat as well. She's the perfect person because she has a big mailing list of families all over the Sacramento region that are connected to the special needs community, and she will frequently share information in that way to her email list. And
Does she work at the North? I'm sorry. Does she work at the North Intercom Library?
No. Heather Bratt is the one that works there, and she's also connected.
I know Heather.
Yeah, to a lot of stuff. She used to do a sensory story time at North Natomas. But Janet Weiniger is one of the people who is the most connected here in the Sacramento area. She herself is the parent of a young man with special needs with nonverbal autism. And so she's been a strong advocate for 20 plus years in that community, and she has a lot of contacts. She's a really good person to touch bases with.
I'll get her number.
Yeah, unfortunately, the individual library branches don't have access to being able to promote stuff outside of our actual buildings, which of course are closed right now, unfortunately. So I would recommend talking with Janet, and then of course Brandy's right here on the meeting, and she would be an excellent source for getting news out to the Natomas community. I know that. But yeah, I'll put both my contact information and Janet Weiniger's in the chat here in a second, and you can access that and email Janet about the special needs events.
I appreciate it. It's very, very generous of you to offer that. Thank you.
Of course, yes. Does anybody else have any questions about the library I can answer? Okay, my fellow Erica, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Whoop, whoop. Thank you. Good information. Alrighty, I think that is it for our city officials. So police are out busy. They're sending their love. They say any questions, get them to us and we'll get them answered. And next up, woo, Sac Fire. We have Jason Lee in the house. Woo! And once again, thank you for all you guys do out there. Without you guys, we would not be safe. And our prayers are out there to all your fellow firefighters that are doing everything right now for all these fires everywhere. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Jason Lee. I'm the fire marshal for the city of Sacramento, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions, but I just want to kind of give you a general overview of what's going on. Obviously, there's lots of fires happening throughout the state right now. So the California firefighters, city firefighters are very, very busy. We have quite a few number of firefighters currently out at these different wildland fires in Solano County and all throughout, our region right now. So we are very, very busy right now. And like I said, there's tons of fires happening right now. It's fire season. So that's a very, very busy time for us. Usually between May to October's our real busy time of the year for a number of fires. But I really do just want to talk about, I understand in the agenda that I saw earlier, one of the points of concern was the Ninos Parkway area and the fire in that location. So I wanted to talk about that one in particular and then answer any questions that you may have. But for that fire, what we found out was it was what we considered to be incendiary, or it was intentionally caused. We do have video of a suspect that used an illegal firework to start the fire. So we do have a video of someone. We are trying to ascertain, more information on the suspect, but we do know that it was intentionally caused. And that was definitely a point of concern for us because we, as fire marshal, one of the areas I oversee is arson investigations. And as a city, we are very, very busy. And again, I do see some of the chats here. This fire was on the Ninos Parkway, which is in southern Natomas area. So, and if there's any particular questions on that fire, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. But overall, like I said, this is our fire season, and we do go out to a lot of what we call vegetation fires or grass fires throughout the city, but also in South Natomas and North Natomas area. And we pride ourselves in trying to get out there as fast as we can. And especially in South Natomas, we have the brand new fire station that opened up recently, Station 15. So we do have quick response for that specific area. So, and that's crucial because when we have vegetation fires, especially with all the heat that's happening right now and the high winds, every minute that it takes for us to get to the fire, it causes the fire to almost double in size. So we want to make sure we can get there and be able to get the fire out as quickly as possible. So that's why it's very important for us to make sure that we have our all our units available and that we have our staffing, which is actually, we are very fortunate right now. Our staffing levels are good, even though we do have firefighters that are out there currently fighting fires throughout the state right now. But our staffing levels for all our houses and all our units are still full. So any particular questions I can answer right now or anything else?
I have a
I
question.
have one. Oh,
Oh, sure.
So I've been noticing, in addition to that fire on the Parkway, it seems like you've had a lot of fires along the American River Parkway as it sits in South Natomas. And I know there was one this past week where there was an issue with water pressure and the inability to get your tanks filled in Discovery Park because the water supply was not available there. And I do understand that the fire was brought under control, but it still took a couple of hours. So have you guys, when I last checked with Keith Wade, it was unknown why the water supply wasn't available and why there was a problem with water pressure. Have you guys figured that out? And because we're still in fire season, so we expect you might be down there again.
Yeah, so that's something that we're definitely looking at right now. And when we do hear reports of that, I do send out my staff to do a follow-up on the hydrants in the area to make sure that we have adequate water pressure. When we deal with fires that are on the Parkway or areas that are heavily wooded, basically, we always try to bring as much water as we possibly can. We have large tanker trucks full of water, 2,000 gallons of water that we'll bring with us to help augment the water supply that we have. And then when we have a large fire in that specific area per se, we'll also have units from Metro Fire Department that will help us, and also from West Sacramento on all the surrounding agencies that will help bring water too. So that's how we can get there. As long as we can get there quick, or the quicker the better, obviously. But that's definitely, water supply can be a challenge, and also the access to the area where the fire's at is sometimes also a challenge for us too. But we have specific type of units that are specifically for grass or vegetation fires with special wheels or 4x4 wheels, basically, that helps us get into those areas faster.
So it sounds like you might still not know what was happening that particular day with
Yes,
water
but
pressure.
that's something that we're still looking into right now. Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions for fire department? Yes, sir.
Jason, what can you tell us about all the fires that are covering the skies right now?
Oh, so right now we have three large fires that are specifically around this area. Solano County is a very, very large fire right now by Vacaville, Vacaville area and Fairfield area. So that's one of the large fires along 80. We also have another fire closer to Winters area that's also creating a lot of smoke for us. And also down south, we have fires that are happening down in South County area too. And the wind patterns are really what's driving a lot of the smoke. And again, we also have fires up in the Nevada County area too. So we're surrounded in this valley because we're a valley, so a lot of the smoke will migrate down into the valley area, and because of the winds. But a lot of people probably saw ash on their cars when this morning. That was because of the Solano County fire overnight. It started and the winds picked up and it brought ash over this way. So it's definitely, so right now air quality is pretty bad.
Are those grass fires or brush fires? What are they?
So some of them are more grass and brush. However, unfortunately, there was a lot of structures that were burned in Solano County. This morning, I believe it was around 50 total, and I would imagine it's much higher now, unfortunately. So the Solano one's both a mixture of brush and, unfortunately, houses and structures.
Can't hear you, Amy. Doesn't show you're muted though. You're not muted. No.
You can also type or chat.
Yeah, he says type it. Yeah, I had a friend that's lost their structure. I found out about an hour before that they lost their home. So very sad times. You have to keep everybody in prayer.
Yeah, there's a lot of evacuations happening in those areas right now. So it's very important for the folks in there to really stay safe and heed the evacuation warnings and get out.
Yeah, that's so true, because they waited to the very last minute. They were asked to leave like hours prior and really thought like they could save it, and just, it was time to go. So, yeah.
Jason, these aren't like residential neighborhoods like we all kind of live in. These are more kind of the rural areas, or are they?
Well, no, so a lot of these are more in the rural areas. For the Solano County fires, because there's a lot more grassland areas in between Fairfield and Vacaville. So I believe the fire started in that area and it was wind driven. So it went into the communities where Sacramento is more urban. We definitely do have pockets of large grassy areas in certain areas of our city, but by and large, we are a more urban setting than some of the other areas that we're seeing where the fires are happening right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I do see the chat here. I'm just seeing there's a question about hydrants being put in the Parkway. Is that a proposal still on the table? So that's something that we can definitely look at, and we can work with our city Department of Utilities, especially if it's along the city parkway areas. We can look at that, but it's definitely something that's very important to do analysis of and seeing if we can add some hydrants and seeing if there's water distribution lines available. But it's something we can definitely work with our Department of Utilities with the city.
Jason, why do you respond to fires in the Parkway? Is that county? Since that's county property, not city.
So, well, in some areas it's city and the county, but what we have is a mutual aid agreement with the county. So we operate with a system where there's no boundaries. So because a fire that is in the Parkway in the county could definitely affect the city and vice versa. So if we see a fire in a certain area, we're going to send the most ready and available units to that fire as quickly as possible to get that fire out. So you may see a unit from Metro Fire or Gonsalves Fire, down in Elk Grove or West Sacramento, fighting a fire in the city just because they might be the closest unit available. So we have a what's called a no boundary or a zero boundary, basically.
I got a question for you. I'm also a Sacramento Fire Department cert EMR, and I'm trained for every emergency situation. And with the homeless community, I've been finding a lot of biohazard problems that could be a big problem. And I've been educating the homeless people about the hazard situation with, with biohazards, or the containers they have and stuff. And I've been doing that a lot lately the last couple of months. I noticed there's a lot more people down there that I don't even know where they're from. They're showing up out of town and on the American River Parkway. And it's a lot of hazmat issues I've been addressing with the homeless. And I've been showing them so firefighters and everybody else won't get hurt as well from these. And what I'm getting at is there any way we could get a flyer for biohazmat to hand out to the homeless? 'cause I was thinking about doing that myself. I was wondering if there's any way we could do that where they could learn what could not be going around each other or be next to each other.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and thank you, sir, for your question and your time. That's a great point. So it's something we can definitely work with the outreach on. I know as a fire department, 80% of our calls for service are medical aids, and only 20% or so are actual fires. So when we interact on the Parkway or interact in the areas where homeless are, 80% of the time it's going to be medical. So we always make sure that we have the proper PPE and the proper equipment when we go out there and to make sure that we're safe from these hazards. But it's definitely something that I know we as a city we're working on that. But with outreach, we can definitely increase that awareness. So that's a great point.
Yeah, I think it'd be really beneficial for everybody if the homeless got like a little fire. What chemicals can't be around each other, so it'll be a wildfire, you know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So yeah, I just want to bring that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Jason, thank you for your time.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, so no last questions? Right. Thank you so much. I think you really answered the questions that were needed. The people that were, trying to get you here are clearly busy watching them instead of us. So whatever, they're missing out, but we'll pass it on. We're having fabulous notes being taken. And thank you again for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I'll leave my contact information in the chat for everyone. So if you have questions, you can email me or call me. Okay.
Thank you. Stay safe. Have a great evening. All righty. So next up on our agenda, Mark, I think you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I feel blessed to be here today, and I wanted to thank Erica. She notified me of this meeting a few weeks ago. And real quick, I have you won't be able to see this, but I made these the other day. Can you guys see that kind of?
If you want me to show, I have the flyer that I posted on the website. I can share the screen if you want people to be able to read it, Mark, while you talk. Do you want me to do that?
No, it's okay.
Oh,
basically,
okay.
I just want to show you quickly, but I have a new fact sheet that I can send you. A brand new one came out that has a different link to the Gifts to Share program. But I'll get into that in a second. So basically, about 20 years ago, I started getting involved with the city affairs and trying to help promote more accessible equipment for kids at parks and playgrounds. Because some of the ADA laws were still being followed, but not really to the full extent they could. So my wife and I, we had a disabled child, was born in 1998 and had a tragic accident and became a quadriplegic. And he passed away last year after 20 years. He had a great run. We thought he wouldn't live as long as he did, but he survived a long time. So I started this process back in like 2000, probably 3 or 4. And we advocated for parks over in Natomas and other areas and just made sure that they sprinkled some features in the playground that a kid could access. And then one thing led to the next. I served on this commission with the city for like a year, and we looked at manufacturers that came, and we kind of judged how they're going to produce equipment that the city would buy, and we kind of evaluated that. Then in 2005, a big thing happened. The city built this park at Southside Park, a playground called Universal Uverse. Have you guys heard of that before? Have you guys ever been down there? Well, it's on 6th and U, and it's Southside Park. You guys have been to Southside Park, I'm sure. Has anybody been to that park? Am I breaking up here?
Yes. No, we hear you. Most of us are muted. So we have 5 that shook their heads, yes. We've got a thumbs up. Okay. So about half of us have definitely been there.
So it's a historical park. It's been around like for 110 years. And so they had this little corner of the park and they built this accessible playground. And my son and I and my family were asked to help dedicate it. So that was in October of 2005. And for years after, I would sponsor music shows, the play dates. I work with Access Leisure and the rec department, and it was just a great deal. Seeing kids come in, could access the playground. They had ramps that a chair could go up and different sensory equipment. But anyway, fast forward all these years, after my kid died in March of last year, I would go to the park and look at it, and there were just a few things that were blighted in it. And I ended up convincing the city to replace this abandoned we-go-round. It was a we-go-round that for 5 or 6 years has been chained up in a big yellow fence. So anyway, I started this effort and we named it Jonnie and Friends Reach for the Stars. And it just, the campaign is kind of getting underway in the last week, where I have a PR company that put together the flyer. We have a website, social media, Instagram, Facebook. And I'm just going to go at it. I have like 10 months, and I think it's going to be an achievable goal, $30,000. I mean, $3,000 a month. My family's going to put in quite a bit. My other relatives are going to help. But I think having kids involved in the schools, maybe. I talked to this guy down in Morgan Hill last week, and he told me to have a coin drive at the schools. But with COVID and all the distance learning, it might be hard to do that. But I think I'm dealing with some companies, Sutter, Blue Diamond, Gencor. There's big firms here, the Kings. But I just have to be smart about it. But it's going to be a great deal. So not only am I looking at the equipment, I have programming coming in. I have like a astronomy group. There's a planetarium. I know the director, the Air and Space Museum at McClellan, the new Powerhouse. You guys heard about the Powerhouse Center? Well, that's a great planetarium. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah, so we're all on mute so we don't interrupt you.
Oh, I see. I'm
So,
sorry.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's a great time. It's a space theme park. I don't know if I told you that. There's the big Airstream. There's a spaceship there. And I'm working with the Arts Commission. That needs a big cleanup. So it's kind of a interesting thing of being an advocate and just having things happen. And I think the city's been appreciative. I'm working with the architects, they're going to take away a couple old structures and add new ones, along with the we go round. We're going to put new plants in. We're going to clean up the park. And a big restroom is going to go in. They're going to replace the restroom. They're going to fix the pond, the aeration in the pond. They're going to put new electrical systems in the stage area. So my effort's kind of in collaboration with the city and all their work. And then there's other parks in Natomas, North Natomas. You guys are from the South, but I feel connected to you because we're all part of one community. We're
all Natomas, so we do
you are?
Yeah, so we do have people that are here from the north too. We represent north, south, west, east, Alaska, Natomas. So yeah.
So there was a park I saw the other day in my neighborhood off of Gateway in Del Paso, and I went to it and I saw the sign and I recognized the architect from like 20 years ago, Tin Wah, city architect. And I said, hey, how's this park coming along? And they're in phase 2, they're going to come back and do a bunch of play structures. And she asked for my help to help design that. And then the programming, the city has these super Saturdays, they're called, starting in October and September, 4 of them through December. And by next week, I need to get back with her about having the music therapy come out, like the events I'm sponsoring now, but have it live. We're gonna, I guess with social distancing, the park's gonna open up and more kids and families can visit the park will be good. So I'm gonna try to get the Air and Space Museum and then Mad Science. Have you guys ever heard of Mad Science, that group? Okay, so I'm gonna have efforts with them. I'm not sure what they're gonna charge, but there might be some city money I'm gonna dig around for, programming money at Access Leisure and maybe Steve Hansen's office. I'm going to be calling Steve tomorrow. I have a meeting with him. He's been helpful. And then Katie Valenzuela is the new council representative taking over, I think, in December. And I'm working with Heather Fargo, Ray Trethaway, these contacts I've had for the last 30 years. And they're going to help out. I might do a fundraiser at the park, but I guess it's just nice to meet you guys because you could be a resource and help. I mean, I think we got to get more kids integrated. It's all about inclusion play. And that park never had a parent advocate group at the beginning. For some reason, I don't know what happened. I was too busy watching my little boy, or else I would have done it maybe. But we got to have the, parents and kids, they got to get out and breathe air and integrate. And then I'm going into the schools. There's a program from a company in LA, and they're going to come up and do workshops and trainings. But I don't know what how much is it going to cost. I don't know. I know Dave Gordon from Sac County Education Superintendent, and he said to me a few months ago that he would be a resource and help me too. So just kind of this foundation starting, but like I have to have good people behind me, and then I think it's going to work. And it's only 30,000. Then if I have more than that, we'll do other equipment. We'll have it in the programming for kids, for events. Maybe have a concert there, or just do some neat things. I want to do that and honor my son.
Well, we want to help you. It's a beautiful thing, and I'll definitely connect with you because I'm in special education. So I will definitely, I know I can give you 10 special ed teachers information, and maybe we can fundraise and let those parents know what you're doing. And I'm sure, you figure if we can reach out to every single person, no matter what they give, every bit will get you there. I'm just sorry that it's not, we never have a huge crowd. I won't say there's standing room only, but I would also like to have you come back, as much as you possibly can for us to continue to get your message out. And hopefully we can get more people out. And I think we're going to have someone big time next month, and he usually brings people in, so we can get a few minutes for you. I won't say who because he hasn't confirmed yet, but if we can get that and get you back again and share the story over and over again, but we're going to do our best to make it happen. And I'm sorry for your loss, but thank you for keeping his memory alive.
Jonnie, he was kind of a trailblazer. My wife and I, we always got him out. He was very disabled, but he was the first kid to go through elementary school, like mainstream. But then when he got older, it was hard. He couldn't be mainstream in junior high. He graduated from Natomas High.
Oh, and Nighthawk. Okay, so then we'll connect you with Joel too.
Joel, yeah, I know.
I know he's already up on it, but
I've helped him with his food bank. He has a food bank. I've helped his food bank before.
Yeah, well, he can get that word out too, since he was on Alta's director's team forever, and he shared a loss too with his son. So this happened. And now, just a question: when you go through your gifts of sharing, do they take a portion of that money?
They do. It's not that big of a portion. I thought about setting up my own 501c, but it turned out that I was going to use another nonprofit in town that I looked at, connected with. But when I heard that the Gifts to Share had this opportunity, I kind of jumped at it because it's through the park. It's kind of related, exactly what I'm trying to do, to funnel resources, donations for a park improvement, playground improvement. So there's always an admin cost of their accounting. And so the main thing though, I have to make, my brother told me this today, he tried to make a donation, looked at it. I guess when you go to the Gifts to Share, we have our flyer information to say, you donate, go to the page, and then you use the drop bar and you go to where it says, we go around South Side. So it's it's clear. But for some people, I'm not sure how it's going to be a difficult process trying to find the page, because you do got to click a couple buttons. But Gifts to Share has like 8 or 9 projects, Erica. Right. They're doing, Land Park, maybe McKinley, or East Lawn Park. They might have a few projects going on.
They even do Pops in the Park.
Yep, they do.
Right. So I just have to make sure that my cause is communicated properly, where they see the location where the money's going to go. And hopefully, and then the grants, I've tried to look for grants, but now I heard the SMUD grant. I looked at that. You guys know Rob Kurth. He's on the SMUD board. He's a friend. But I guess it's hard for them to donate to another group, UCP. I'm working with UCP, and they can't take a grant funding and then all of a sudden turn it over to gifts to share. It's like some kind of conflict. So, but I think it'll work out. If I don't go after the big grants, Prop 68 I heard had some money in it for this kind of cause, but I'm sure then advertising, when you guys look at the we go around, it has a panel to it. It spins around, and the panel has advertising opportunities, because I've seen a few of these in the state. And a company like Tyker, Blue Diamond, Sutter, they could put a panel on it for 10 years and have their name advertised for thousands of people that go to the park. So that was one avenue to raise money. But another guy told me it's going to be hard. I'm going to go up to probably 9 out of 10 companies are going to shut the door. They won't offer any money. So that I'll just have to try harder. And
try again with them, and over again. Someone recently, a good friend told me that, they say no on the 9th time, it works. He's smiling. The gentleman that shared that with me is now smiling. So we'll make it happen. So is it possible to send the checks to you and then you're able to put them in the account and avoid that minimal cost? Or is it just best to go through the gifts of sharing?
that's a good point, Erica, because I thought about doing a GoFundMe page. But I'm kind of a dinosaur in these tech issues. So I need to get help figured out. But if that was the case, I might, I got to talk to the city, because they would probably leave that avenue open where if it didn't go to the gifts to share, I'd save that 1.5%, like you're saying.
So let's just check into the GoFundMes, because I know they do take a portion too, and we want to make sure that you get what's right. We'll find out what's the best, but you can count me in for a donation for sure, because anything we can do to help.
That's nice. And I'll send you the new flyer, and then there's the website. I have a website coming along too. That'll have events and information. We're doing clean. I didn't tell you about this part. Last thing I'll let you go. So there's equipment, programming, and then community cleanup and help. I have volunteers, and I'm working with the Southside Community Association Park. They do cleanups too, but I'm going to do specifically ones that are geared towards the playground. And I had one set up on March 21st, and it didn't happen because of COVID, but I had like 30 people lined up, and I had restaurants, Dos Coyotes. There's an engineering company across the street from the playground, and there's a B&B, and then Valeo's restaurant. You guys ever heard of Valeo's?
Love it.
I know. So it's a different, it's a close community to Natomas. So even though it's not our community, I still feel connected to that area.
Of course.
Erica, I want to say, if I may, the gifts to share, they take, I want to say it's 2%, which means for $1,000, they may take $20.
Oh, okay.
But they cover a lot of the, make sure things are done appropriately, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we have found it's worth it, not only for the Pops, but for other programs that we have raised money for. Not to, just, that's our take on it. So
You work for Jeff Harris?
I do, sir.
Good. Yeah, I know Jeff. His daughter goes to school with my kid at St. Francis.
Yeah.
St. Francis.
Yes.
You know,
I want to talk to Jeff. I'll email him, but I like his support too, or knowledge about how to garner support. Because I'm like this visionary guy. I have this big dream, but some of the technical aspects and the business approach, I have thank you cards now with letterhead. I got business cards. I think I'm pretty savvy enough to go in front of a group and just push the idea through. But there are probably things that I'm not adept at yet, of how to go after bigger money people, but I think I got till June or July, June to do it. We're looking at a May, June install, and the city's going to pay the installation. I just have to come up with the $29,000, and I've already dropped it down to like 20, I think 6 or 27.
Mark, can I ask you a question? I think I saw on your original flyers that you guys have a virtual concert series that'll be happening a couple of times that we put on the website. I didn't know if you just wanted to briefly tell people about the concert series and what that is.
Okay, so in the early days, starting in 2005, even before, my kid had this music therapist her name was Bessie Barth. She owned a company called Music to Grow On. And she would come to the park and do concerts. So last November, December, I started thinking, well, let's reinvent the play date and have like the face painting, art. And then I got more ambitious about space theme events, having the Powerhouse Science Center, Sac State has a planetarium that it's built, and just incorporating some stimulating things for kids, and then bringing in the special kids too, to integrate and have programming for the kids. And then I met Sam, her name is Samantha Vu, I think, from the rec department. Now she's on board, and I'm working with Access Leisure. So I'm kind of this intermediary connecting people to promote events. So then turned out that COVID hit, and I was not allowed to have the music shows. So then I went virtual with them. And it's been a bit disappointing. The numbers are a bit lower. I've been, the next 2 days, I'm going to advertise and send out to all my contacts to have them put it on social media and advertise it. But it's been, I thought I'd have like 50, 60 people. But I had, the first time was like 10, 11, then I went to 20. I have one more in August and 3 in September. But they're basically just these 2 teachers, therapists, have guitars and they sing and they interact with kids and families. So it's a bit different. Instead of being live, we used to have these live shows with a big parachute. Kids would shake instruments around and there'd be this nice singing, and then people would come around that weren't part of the group and interact. And I used to cook like hot dogs and food. We'd have drinks. So it was a neat thing. But did that answer the question?
Yeah, so anyone who's interested, they're online, and we put the dates on the Natomas event calendar on our website if you would like to join or let people know about those.
Oh, that's on the library site?
The Natomas Community Association.
Oh, I'm sorry, that one. Okay,
yep.
Good. Well, that's nice. I think, and then let me tell you this. So then I talked to Sam from the rec department, and she gave me 4 dates of the Super Saturday. So that she's doing her planning on her side. And then she said, Mark, why don't you bring in your group and contacts and programming, and we'll have just a huge event. So there's 4 of them. And I'm going to get back to you guys and explain what we're going to do. Her name is Shanaz from the Powerhouse group. I think it'd be neat for them to come out because they have that big science center being built, the old PG&E building. And if they could have a booth of explaining their new building out there and the events, that would be great. Then the museum from the air and space, and then the music, maybe some art. Oh, the city let me put in an art wall too, and a donor wall. There was this big area by the pool, south side pool there. So donors that donate like over $300 would get like a plaque. And then kids can do some artwork. I'm trying to work on that where they can do a tile artwork or some neat piece we can put in and be like an art piece. So that's kind of neat to look forward to. And they're receptive. I mean, the architects and Shannon Brown, the assistant director of the parks, has been a big advocate for this cause. So it's good having the support and Steve Hansen behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I appreciate you guys letting me talk.
No, we appreciate you being here. We're going to pray for you, and we're going to get this message out, and we're going to reach the school.
I got a question, though. I've been wanting to ask you this whole time. I'm a leader of American River Homeless Crew as well, and we connect parks and everything. And I got thousands of followers on my Facebook. If you want to put a flyer on my Facebook, they'll definitely get responses from them. If you're interested in doing that, and also have followers on Nextdoor app. So it sounds like what you're doing is a really wonderful thing, and I definitely want to back you up. If you need help cleaning up parks, that's what me and my American River Homeless Crews are doing. Well, you got our backup 100%. Just let us know when and where, and we'll be there to help you.
Can you send me I'll talk to Erica. I'll get your name and number from Erica later. But
Definitely
Absolutely.
pass.
I go down to the park about 4 times a week, and I have a little picker-upper thing, and I have a trash can, and I do it by myself. But you could help out because, and you know what? I'll have a nice lunch for you from Dos Coyotes. So the manager from Dos Coyotes is a friend, and he's offered to provide a lunch. So if your group can come, I'd give you a free lunch and drinks.
Well, I I hope you realize how big my group is.
Well, we'll have a nice talk. I'll connect you both and we'll make sure that we make that happen. But Dan does have quite the following. So we better cut that down and we'll see because he's a man of many traits. So thank you again. We appreciate it more than you know.
And I definitely would like to put you on my Facebook as well. So let me know if your flyer, when you get a flyer sent to me, and get my email address or from America, or contact me and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
I'll connect you guys virtually tonight.
There is a Facebook right now. My son has an account now. It's called Jonnie and Friends Reach for the Stars. So that, and it's on the flyer. I think it's on the flyer that I'm going to send to Erica, and she could send it to you. But the Facebook went up live like 2 days ago. It's just all one kind of word, Jonnie and Friends Reach for the Stars, and you'll find it.
Okay. Also, you can just go by my name. My Facebook's my name, Dan Aderholt. You can look me up, send me a friend request, and we'll go from there.
Let me write it down before I get off. Let me see your name. How do you spell your last name, Dan?
Mark, we can just email it to you so you
Okay.
have it. Yeah. Yeah.
And
All
I'll
right,
connect you
thank
guys
you.
tonight. Mark, if you'll send us over your new flyer as soon as possible, because I'm losing my gym, so we make sure that it gets up properly. And I will connect you guys virtually tonight and introduce you both. And then if you
Thank
guys
you
have
very
any further questions.
That's great. You guys have been very generous letting me talk, and I hope you are all safe and stay safe indoors with the smoke.
We will. And you too.
Thank you, Erica, for inviting me.
No, thank you.
Be safe,
All right.
everybody. Bye-bye.
You too.
Erica, we had Brandy on the agenda next, but I saw that she got rid of her camera. So no.
Yes, so Brandy, when you're ready to join us, just let us know when you're back. Before we go any further, iPhone, you have your thumb up. We're not sure who you are because it doesn't say whose iPhone. Was that a thumb up to Mark? And would you like to let us know who you are? I'm dying to know. I don't know about everybody else, but whenever somebody comes on a phone, I'm like, who is it? You know. So anyway, Brandy is now with us, and we shall go ahead, and you're at Natomas Buzz. Woo-hoo.
Okay, so just a really quick announcement. We have a election coming up. I'm sure everybody knows that. And part of that election is the Natomas Unified School Board has 3 seats open for re-election. We have 3 incumbents and 7 newcomers, so 10 people on the ballot for those 3 seats. And because we can't meet in person and have in-person candidate forums, I am planning to hold 2 candidate forums virtually or online, and one in September and one in October. So I'm looking at dates that hopefully will not conflict with existing school board meetings and existing community group meetings. Part of my announcement tonight is just to let you know that that's coming so that you can, watch for those dates, but then also to seek NCA's support in helping publicize and, be kind of co-hosts or sponsors for those events. So I spoke at GNNA the other day, and they're interested in being a community supporter of the forums. And so I'm here tonight just to mention that to NCA. Our district is quite large and encompasses schools throughout North and South Natomas. And, I'm always been a big proponent of, you have 3 votes, use all 3 of them. And in order for people to feel comfortable doing that, I know it's really important for them to know who the candidates are and what they stand for. So that's one of the reasons for the candidate forum. And then also to put, since we I'm not really sure how much precinct walking will take place just because of the current situation with COVID-19. I know there will be some efforts, but you know, it might be difficult to get people to come to the door. And then also the Natomas Buzz will be, as is tradition, covering the election as well with community Q&A. And so an article will be coming out hopefully this week, just introducing you to all 10 of the candidates. But I welcome members of the community to submit questions that they have about education and what they'd like to hear from the school board members on for a series of columns that will run on the Buzz. And then of course I'll be, you know, seeking some input on what types of questions to put forth to the candidates on the forums. With 10 candidates and an online format, it will be a challenge logistically to have a meaningful presentation. And so I am in contact with the League of Women Voters and other city officials, and just to get ideas on how best to format that, where people can be kept to speaking limits, but also have time to answer meaningful questions. So I can put my contact information in the chat. If anybody has any ideas they want to share with me, feel free to email. If they have questions they'd like to submit, again, feel free to email those as well.
Thank you. Any questions for Brandy? Whoop, whoop. Stanford Settlement Center, did you have anything that you wanted to share? I know there's something big coming up. Come on, Julie, share it. You're on mute.
I'm unmuted now. There you go. Thanks for asking. Next Wednesday, August 26th, we will be having our inaugural free grocery and mask giveaway at Stanford Settlement Neighborhood Center. I'm going to attach the flyers in the chat. They're also available on our Facebook page and our website. I want to thank the Real Life Church, Sacramento, located in Natomas, as well as Vice Mayor Harris and Garland Northgate Neighborhood Association, and all. I see many people on this Zoom call tonight that support Stanford Settlement, and I thank you for that. Our intention is to provide people with some support with emergency assistance with food. We'll be doing this in a drive-through approach, so nobody has to get out of their car. We'll also be distributing masks. While Stanford Settlement serves, excuse me, a variety of, well, everybody. If you live in the neighborhood, you can use our services. And but we've seen a big increase in the COVID-19 outbreak in our zip codes, and we're worried about that. So part of our intention is to share the message that wearing a mask will help us get through this faster, and give you some masks so you can get with the program and we can make this go away. I think that's it. Any questions about that? Well, thank you to all of you. Yes, David.
Can you send me something? We can send that out. I mean, it's just another way to get information out to folks. And is there anything else that we can do to be helpful?
Yes, I will send it out to you, and I apologize if I thought my executive assistant did do that. So I'll follow up.
Jocelyn may have gotten it. She's at it. You know, I'm filling in, so I apologize if that's already happened.
Got it. Yes, it would be great if you could promote it. And we've also resumed a food drive that we expect is going to continue on now through the holidays. We see that things aren't getting better yet for people being out of work and struggling. So anybody is welcome to share the information about the food drive, about the grocery and mask giveaway. And I appreciate your support and helping spread the word in our community.
Absolutely.
I was curious, if you want to drop off food for the food drive, do you need a call first to let people know you're coming, or you just show up?
We're pretty much here 9 to 5. Most of our staff is out in the field doing deliveries to our regular program participants Monday through Friday. But there's always somebody here during business hours to accept food donations. No need to call. What else? No? All right. Well, thank you for letting me share that, Erica. I appreciate it. And thank you all for, I know all you guys the different ways you support Stanford Settlement. I've seen some faces with some names that I haven't gotten to see before. So thank you, everybody.
Hey, Julie, hold on for 1 second. I wasn't able to talk. I went on mute for some reason. Do you have a flyer that I could put on my Facebook as well for that? Because that's really beneficial for everybody that's out there. All the people on my Facebook that live in Natomas and all over could come out.
Sure, I'll be happy to share that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. We appreciate you and all that you do. So we have Dan. I think Dan is up next because I lost my agenda. I went dead on the other one. So Dan, we have 9 minutes for you to go ahead and speak. And is anyone from the public? We have Miss iPhone, we have Miss Gia. Who else is here? Is it Noel or yeah, Noel or Noel? I remember talking to you and I always mess it up. So if you guys have anything, questions in the chat, you can privately message me if you'd like a chance to speak, so we'll know. And we will, Dan, you're up.
Okay.
Oh,
Mine's gonna be quick and sweet.
Okay.
My Medicare homeless crew right now are aware of the situation that's going on between Gateway Oaks and back on Garden Highway of the trash buildup. And we're working on it right now. We're trying to get people involved, cleaning up, because the problem is we got more and more people coming in that don't live around here. They're coming in now to Sacramento. So we're trying to get them on board as well. So I'm saying, we're on it. We're getting more people involved. It just takes time, but we're aware of the situation. We're doing it. And plus, Park and Recreation, wait for them to start picking up trash as well, so we can get going working together again because of COVID-19. Also, separate issue, I talked to Erica about this. I would like to run for president of NCA at the next election. Erica says she got my support. I really like to hear from everybody how they feel about that. And that's it. Thank you.
So Dan, we will put that down for like a different time. I'm glad that you put it out into the universe and let everybody know. But we want to make sure that we have time for all that. But we're going to get down to all that good stuff. Just be ready. I know I see some competition in the audience. I know, oh, no, I think she left. So, hey, actually, Nikki might be a little competition. Janae might be interested. Erica, everybody. But yeah, so we look forward to the battle that's going to come as we get it together. So thank you, Dan, for being so quick. I appreciate that. So, and that's in January is when elections is for the seat, and who knows. All right, do we have any public comments before I take up a bit of the time? Did I see a hand up? Come on down, go for it. Can't hear you again. Hold on, we can't hear you. She has the election on the big screen, so give her a second. Nope, not yet. Nope. Now try it again. Try to take off the mute.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. We've got you. Woo-hoo!
Thank heavens. Okay. I just wanted to just give a quick heads up. The Natomas Garden and Arts Club is having our monthly full membership meeting on the 26th, Wednesday the 26th at 6:30. And last month we had our worm composting presentation, and it's a Zoom format, and it went off wonderfully. And this month we're going to do a chalk art technique presentation, because I don't know if you heard about Chalk It Up going remote for this year. It's the 30th anniversary, and I don't know if you guys know about my connection with Chalk It Up, but I've been with Chalk It Up since the inception. I was like one of the core group. Yes, Erica, you knew that.
No, I was going to say, so everybody may not even know what Chalk It Up is. So is everyone familiar with what Chalk It Up is before?
The
So we've got-
annual sidewalk painting festival, and it usually happens at Fremont Park, which is downtown at 15th and 16th and P and Q. This year, it's going to be a socially distant format where the artists and the sponsors will be working at different sites around town, and they will be mapped sort of under the format of the Wide Open Walls art map, so that people can go out and check out the artworks and to look at the website. And I do have the chalkitup.org is their website, and all the information is on their webpage about the festival in general. But then the Natomas Garden and Arts Club has participated for the last few years doing art for Chalk It Up. And this year we are partnering with the Sacramento Tree Foundation and doing a tree themed community chalk project. So we are going to be teaching at the presentation, we are going to be teaching chalk techniques in general, but specifically chalk techniques for drawing trees, indigenous plants, and plants that we find in our neighborhoods. So the presentation will be about an hour. It's a very quick presentation. There'll be a Q&A afterwards. It's a slideshow presentation I put together. And I do have more information about it on the Natomas Garden and Arts Club webpage and our social media pages. But I did want to encourage community members to tell other community members to come, because our idea is to fill Natomas with art for the Labor Day weekend. This is September 5th, 6th, and 7th is when Chalk It Up happens this year. And so we'll hopefully get people inspired next week. We're also going to be putting together prize packages for people who attend the workshop with chalk and paintbrushes and spray bottles and all the equipment you will need to do your own chalk artwork. So the Zoom link will be on the Natomas Garden and Arts Club website and social media pages, hopefully within the next couple days. But the meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 26th at 6:30 p.m. And unless anybody has any questions, I think that's all I have to say. I think I'm done.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Are there any other questions, last minute things that anyone would like to say before I take the floor for a few minutes? And it actually seems everybody's going to have a chance to see. Hello, look at my new, look, he wants to say hello, everybody. This is Taz, because he's just been driving me insane. So hello, Taz, because he's like, So if there's no last things, I will just take a few minutes and then we'll get out of here a little early, because all the black screens are trying to watch, you know, everybody picked Harris over Hardin today. So I will not hold that personally. And some are working too. So I had my little president's report, but we're gonna skip that. For those of you that do not know, we are losing the biggest piece of our pie. So, and this is long overdue, but Lizzie will not be with us after today. So what, Julie's response is the greatest. Yeah. She's moving on to bigger and better things. So we wish her nothing but the best and the success of enjoying parenting and what all it has to bring. So there will be many changes coming to NCA. So it will turn into a true work in progress, because without Lizzie, there truly is no NCA. Lizzie is our glue. So, and for, you know, so she's definitely the glue. And I had a little something. So I know there's going to be plenty of people next month, because I just found out for sure that we will have Councilmember Harris, Vice Mayor Harris, who will be here, and he's going to be discussing the strong mayor and why we should all be opposing it because I am, so you guys should too. We don't need that. Just plugging that right now. And I'm hoping that she will come back and be our special guest because you don't have to do any work. Just join us because my little surprise did not make it in time. And with the fact that we only have like a handful, but it is the best handful that we have. The most important people are here right now. But what I just want to share, and we thank you for everything that you have done and brought to NCA within the amount of time that you have been here. You have truly changed the game, and nobody's going to want to fill your shoes because we can't even get somebody to like want to hang out and take your place for 5 minutes. So I know it's a little corny and weird, and I'm pretty sure the secret squirrel is enjoying the fact that I'm a little different, but thank you. Thank you, Lizzie, for everything.
Well, first, that's not true. Like, NCA is a group effort and everyone contributes. So, but I will have to say, like, I mean, and so I'm leaving just because my daughter's not going back to preschool because of COVID, and we're starting our own little family, like, co-op kind of thing. And I just wanted to be able to focus on that and not feel, not feel like I'm neglecting NCA, which I would. I have a hard time turning anything off. So anyway, so I know that about myself, but I just want to say, like, I joined NCA shortly after moving to Sacramento, and I started out with knowing nobody. And even this last week, I was at the El Ninos Community Garden at our garden plot, went to the library, and I ran into Erica and all these people, and Jocelyn I saw about town, and I was just like, oh my God, like, NCA is my community. And I met a lot of people through you guys. So thank you.
Natomas as a whole is your community, and we always will be. We're not, going anywhere. And I personally know where you live, so you're never going to escape me. So you just won't get these, oh, can you help me with this? We're just proud of you. I'm so thankful that we met you, and the quality of light that you have brought, and the hope and the joy. Tremendously. There's no words, honestly. And not gonna cry because I'm not a crybaby.
You're already making me cry, like, so it's got to.
And for those, feel free, like, totally, if this is too corny, you guys can, like, hey, we can say this meeting is officially adjourned if there's no other questions. And then those that want to stay on and say something great or your best Lizzie memory, feel free, whether it be the typo that she made once. Because I caught it, you guys. Like, she made a typo one time. So thank you, Lizzie, honestly. So I will, no president's report today. There's big changes, and you guys will keep everybody updated. Lizzie is unreplaceable. So we can't replace her. I'm not even going to try. So we'll figure out what we go from here. And yeah, thank you. Any last remarks from anyone? The crew want to say anything about Lizzie? I mean, come on.
I do. Lizzie, this is Janae. Thank you so much for just stepping in and being amazing and just always doing it with a smile. And like Erica said, bringing joy. Like, to me, that's been the biggest thing, and just maintaining that spirit for us. I appreciate you so much. I know the board does. You've done beyond anything words can describe, and you've always done it with just humility and love and without ever putting up a fight. So I know you came into a million things that needed to be done, and you took that burden and you ran with it, and you've done a phenomenal job. And I just want to thank you personally for staying the course, for coming in and just always being available for any questions. And for the ones you didn't have answers to, you were always so quick to go, well, you know what, I'll find out. And you always found out. So just thank you, and know that we're always going to be here for you. Like Erica said, we're not going anywhere. You're family, we're family, and just thank you from the bottom of my heart for, I've learned things from you personally. So I just thank you for being you.
Oh, thank you, Janae. That's so nice. I'm going to miss you.
I won't be too far, I promise.
I know. Someday we'll have a play date.
Yeah, we're still working.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you, Lizzie, because you did a phenomenal job, big time. And first thing, I think you rock. I mean, really, I think losing you is going to be a tragic loss. I think you're a wonderful person, and I hope to see you around, to be honest.
Thank you. You will. I'll be here. Thank you, Dan. Right.
Well said. Well, 7:55. Whoop whoop! You guys all go watch Toner Arms and Erica's, and we'll see you guys all. The new thing, you can continue to still email new NCA. Oh, well, yeah, just email newNCA@gmail.com, and I will throw it in here.
And their email address will remain active and checked and everything. You can email at either one. So yeah.
Yes, you can still, it just won't have as great of a gloss, Lizzie gloss. It will probably have an interesting gloss. So, and and this meeting is adjourned. I would like for anyone that is a member of the executive board to stay on and give me the last